Hey guys, Moby here with my 3.20 dual wield Cospri Malice cast on critical strike Elementalist. It is a very cheap build that has very high damage and also very good clear speed. The gearing of this character is very efficient because we invest as little as possible into critical strike multiplier and critical strike chance. Into critical strike multiplier we invest exactly nothing, because we use Malice's virtuosity, which makes our critical strike multiplier be 300%. So this gives us 150% critical strike multiplier without the need of investing into crit multi at all. So the crit multi problem is solved by these two chaos gloves alone. But what about the crit chance? This is usually the most important thing for a cast on crit character. You want your crit chance to be 100% so that your spells can be triggered efficiently. On the Elementalist, this is even more difficult. The Inquisitor, for example, has some crit chance on the Ascendancy, but the Elementalist doesn't. So we have to use a little trick. Sublime Vision makes us gain 25% more critical strike chance while affected by precision. So this jewel alone makes us go from about 75% crit chance to about 100% crit chance. Of course, the Sublime Vision jewel alone does not grant us 100% increased critical strike chance, but it has a very nice synergy with Brittle Ground. Brittle is a cold element that makes our hits have plus critical strike chance against enemies. So by default it has plus 2% critical strike chance, but we can scale it with increased effect of cold ailments or increased effect of non-damaging ailments. We have some of that on the tree because it also scales very well with our freezes and with our shocks. And the freezes are also very important for the extra fire damage that we gain from the heat shiver. So this one is a very nice interaction with the brittle boots. So these two items alone, this jewel and the brittle ground, in combination with the increased effect of non-damaging ailments or increased effect of cold ailments, is almost everything that we need in order to cap our critical strike chance. Of course, on top of that, we have 5 power charges in the build. Here we have 2 of them, and then I have picked, I think, 2 more nodes here with critical strike chance, and that's it. That's basically it. The power charges are generated by Storm Rider alone. 10% chance to gain a power charge when you shock a chilled enemy. And because of the Ascendancy, we always shock and always chill due to the cold damage that we deal. So we gain every second multiple power charges. Do not get distracted from the tooltip on the Cyclone, which says that it has only 29% of crit chance. A lot of the crit chance, as I've just told you, comes from the brittle ground and from the power charges that are up in maps. So with the path of building, we achieve 100% critical strike chance. Another big problem that builds like this, especially as an Elementalist, usually suffer is the accuracy rating. We want our accuracy rating be 100% so that we do not waste any hits and so that we can crit reliably. So this is also achieved by the Sublime Vision, which gives us increased effect of our aura skill, which is Precision. Precision makes us already gain 778 accuracy rating, but it gives us even more with the 40%. So it gives us more than 1000 accuracy rating. And then we need 2 rings, which have lots of accuracy rating ideally. And that's basically it. So let's have a look at the gear. I took 2 Cospri Malices, we dual wield them, and I took Corrupted Implicits, of course, because the Implicits usually have Global Critical Strike Multiplier, which we do not benefit from due to the Malice's virtuosity. This is why we have some room for other beneficial stats like crit chance, elemental penetration, and gain a frenzy charge after spending a total of 200 mana. This is very nice because frenzy charges give us more damage and also some speed. Then the heat shiver, of course, it makes us gain cold damage as extra fire per chill effect, and against frozen enemies, this gives us a lot of extra DPS. Here I just took a chest with implicits that are kind of important. Melee hits have 7% chance to fortify. This is very good, especially in Delirious maps. As you could have seen, I have 20 fortify up pretty much often, or even 21, which we gained from, I think, I think this one here, +1 maximum fortification, which also helps is a megalomaniac with aggressive defense. Fortifying hits grant 60% increased fortification. This is very nice. And also the endurance charge is a very nice thing. We also gain endurance charges by the Goliath, which we have anointed on this amulet, which features life and +1 level of all cold skill gems, and also some attributes because we need lots of dexterity. So the Goliath makes us gain endurance charges, which we then can spend with the Immortal Call and cast when damage taken. So this is very good, a very nice defensive layer. The rings have some life, resistances, accuracy, and if you can get your hands on it, gain life per enemy hit with spells. That's very nice. Boots just with some life and also some resistances. And also very important, while a unique enemy is in your presence, 9% increased cooldown recovery rate. That's very nice. Belt, just some life and some resistance. This is not even very good. Apis Jewel, I took some added spell cold damage and hinder. And here we have the Maligaros with also a corrupted implicit elemental weakness on hit, which isn't even that good anymore. It only inflicts -15% to all elemental resistances. Let's have a look at the gems. Of course, Cyclone is linked to Awakened cast on crit, but it does not have to be the Awakened gem. You can also use the regular cast on crit gem. Then I took Awakened added cold damage support. This one is also not really needed. Hypothermia. And here I have Ice Nova, of course, as a main skill. Ice Nova is very nice. And Inspiration is pretty important because this build needs a lot of mana or a lot of mana regeneration. So Inspiration is kind of needed. It also gives us critical strike chance, so that's very good. In the Cospris I have Frostbolt here linked to GMP and Inspiration. And in this one I have Ice Nova again with Hypothermia and Frost Bomb. Frost Bomb is dropped by this automatically so that we also can inflict the exposure which we need for the Mastermind of Discord. Of course, you can also use something like this, Corrosive Elements, then you do not really need the Frost Bomb. Then you can use another support gem. I also experimented with Creeping Frost, for example, and GMP and Hypothermia. This is also pretty powerful, so I could see that being replaced. You can experiment with the cold skills that I used in the Cospris. Then we have Vortex on left click with Arcane Surge and Bone Chill and Onslaught for the speed. And here we have Flame Dash as a movement skill, Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder, Precision. We have to note that except for Precision, we cannot use an Aura skill. This is the downside of the Sublime Vision. Aura skills other than Precision are disabled, but that is not that bad for this build because we need a lot of mana for the skills, and Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice are pretty nice for this build. Then we have Cast when damage taken and Immortal Call, as well as Spell Totem and Scorching Ray. This one is there to inflict the fire exposure. Because of the Heat Shiver, we also deal lots of fire damage on top of the cold damage, and we drop this totem at the boss so that it gains not only the cold exposure from the Frost Bomb, but also the fire exposure from the Scorching Ray. Let's have a quick look at the passive tree. Elementalist is the best class for this build in my opinion. Heart of Destruction gives us a lot of area of effect for the Cyclone and also for the Ice Nova in particular. And Mastermind of Discord makes us also regenerate mana, which is very important since this build burns lots of mana. Then we have the option to shock all of our enemies with Shape of Storms, which is also very good. And Bastion of Elements is still very, very nice. Then I would like to mention that this Clever Thief here is very nice for Mana Leech and Life Leech. And also the Mastery, 100% increased total recovery per second from Life, Mana or Energy Shield Leech. That is very, very good. If you still have mana problems, you may need something on your gear like increased mana regeneration rate, but the Heat Shiver also has 60% increased mana regen. Also, you can have on your rings minus mana cost, which makes them usually very expensive, but as you can see, you don't necessarily need them. Then let's have a close look at the Cluster Jewel. Here I took Blast Freeze, which is very nice as a defensive layer. The Sadist one, which gives us lots of damage since we chill, ignite and shock. And then we have Widespread Destruction in this case, some area of effect and some damage. And here I took Astonishing Affliction for the increased effect of non-damaging ailments, which is important. Storm Rider for the power charge generation. And here we have some life. Feast of Flesh is very good also for the 10 life per enemy hit with attacks. Here we have it again, and then here we have Essence Rush, which isn't that great for this build, but I took it because of aggressive defense, which makes our fortifying hits grant 60% increased fortification. This is very nice. I also have a path of building in the link below if you want further details. Thank you very much for having watched this, and if you enjoyed, then please consider liking or even subscribing to the channel. Thanks a lot, and then I see you in the next video. Bye.